To do a quick video, a book review and recommendation. And that book is Bronze Age Mindset by Bronze Age Pervert. Obviously is a pseudonym, but an appropriate one. And there's something appropriate about using a pseudonym for this particular book. The book is not for everyone, to begin with. Its very content sort of precludes it from being a book for everyone. In that way, and in many, many other ways, it is very Nietzschean in its style, in its insights, in its style of insight. Although the affect is slightly different than Nietzsche's affect in writing. But if I had to distill the premise, and the book touches on all sorts of subjects, but if you have to distill the premise of the book down to a single argument, it is essentially this. There is a biological hierarchy in humankind. And we're not talking about a particular race or anything like that. We're talking about particular individuals, the Julius Caesars of the world, the Isaac Newtons of the world. And these specimens are essentially responsible for all the great things that have come in history. Whether it's valiant action or great new inventions or scientific discovery. He has a lot to say about science in this book too, that's very interesting. And he points out that the liberal establishment is essentially the attempt to systematize the achievement of science and disconnect the value and the ability to do science from these great men and make it so that everyone can do it. And it just hasn't worked. Moreover, and if it can't do that, then at least it wants to make itself inseparable from the achievement of these great men. But that's not true either. They never needed any establishment in order to pursue their thing. The pursuit of greatness, of invention, of discovery, of all the good things is a byproduct of a kind of nature that they possess. It's in their blood, as he puts it. But the tragedy of the modern age, of global suburban, basically, is that there is no unowned space, or at least very, very little. The author, Bronze Age Pervert, spends a surprising amount of time describing his own philanderings in the underworld around brothels and dark, dingy porn theaters and kind of second world, bordering on third world types of places. The sorts of places where rogue vampire bats fly into hotel lobbies and that's normal. That's one of the most memorable sentences I've read in a while. And so, these great men need areas of unowned space where there aren't rules and inhibitions and nurse marms who are dictating what they can and can't do. And in this freedom of unowned space, claimed space for them, that's where they can develop their inner powers and their strengths and skills and talents and become what they were sort of born to be. And so I suppose I would describe him as a bit of an accelerationist. That might be reading into it, though. It's very much an inference and not in the text itself. But he is like Nietzsche, a man born beyond his time and place. They're both Mycenaean Greeks in spirit, born in a more or less modern age. Anyways, it's a fantastic read if you're into the philosophy of life, if you're into the philosophy of religion and science. But it also is a great read for political junkies. Although, in my opinion, the politics part was the least interesting, almost detracted from the book, but not quite. Because he was able to tie it into the more general aesthetic of the, again, it's a very Nietzschean book, the pursuit of power and the basking in the glory of your own power. And he has, I guess I'll go a little bit longer. He has this passage towards the opening where he's trying to make the case that natural selection, evolution, Darwinianism isn't exactly wrong, but it is very, very misleading about what life is about. And he describes being at this waterfall somewhere. There's all these waterfalls are falling down when the flood season hits, and these birds that nest in the waterfall will come out when the waterfall amplifies itself in the flood season, creating all these rainbows and water sprays everywhere. And the birds will come out and start just diving and flying around through these splashes of water, glorying in the light and the beauty and their own flying abilities. And he says, what's the survival and reproductive value of that? What's the Darwinian purpose of that? Well, they put an evolutionary psychologist to the task, and they can probably come up with some convoluted hypothetical explanation as to why that plausibly might be the case. But he says these are so convoluted, these explanations as to why these particular behaviors are so intricate and dubious that he says, I don't believe them. Certain animals won't breed in captivity. Why is that? What's the survival and reproductive value of that? No, the animals live for higher animals, he says anyways, more noble animals that aren't just yeast, they don't live just to survive and reproduce. Survival and reproduction is a byproduct, is a natural byproduct of the sun-like energy emanating from noble creatures who experience the joy of their own glory and power. And he says that is closer to the real meaning of life. That's what life is about. And so, what's that like in humans? Well, read the book and find out. It's an excellent read. It's a fun read. Someone at Countercurrents, Peter Brereton, I think, compared him to, like, if Hunter S. Thompson had written Thus Spoke Zarathustra. It's just about right. So, highly recommend.